Bahrain Grand Prix is really interesting because that's one of the strongest undercuts on the F1 calendar. Let's discuss why in Jamna's F1 classroom. So the undercut is used by Formula One teams to try and gain an advantage over their competitors, and the way they do this is by pitting before the driver in front of them. And once that driver has pitted, those new tyres and fresh rubber can be used to gain a pace advantage in the out laps and the subsequent laps. The driver who was in the lead, however, will still be out on track, so by the time they do actually come in for their pit stop a lap or two later, their tyres will be degrading hard and they will be slower coming in. The idea is that the driver who pitted first, they've gained enough of a pace advantage once they came out of their pit stop with the fresh rubber in the cleaner air, so much so that when their opponent does go in for their pit stop, that the original driver who pitted first will come out in front of them. So why does Bahrain have such a strong undercut? There's a few main factors and then some smaller factors, mainly tyre wear, track abrasion, pace and traffic. So each weekend Pirelli will release a graphic of what tyres they're going to be using and also what the track abrasion will be like. Where tyre abrasion is high, like in Bahrain, when a driver does go in for their pit stop, the difference in tyres and lap times is so different between the old tyres and new tyres that the undercut will be effective. Traffic is also a big thing, or lack thereof. So in Bahrain, you won't see much traffic when you come out of a pit stop. Where there is a lot of traffic, the undercut won't be as effective because you're coming out in between different cars. There's a lot of dirty air. The undercut won't have made a difference. And this is because when there is a lot of traffic, you just can't maximize the tyre performance because you're stuck behind the driver. You might be stuck in your DRS train and you just can't overtake. So you've lost all that performance in that new tyre. Track length is also a factor too. So when the undercutting driver goes in for their pit stop and the defender of that undercut wants to then respond, they simply have longer to go around the track. So their tyres are continuing to degrade, whereas the undercutting driver can continue to build that pace. There are other factors too. Of course, the pit stop itself has to go well. The pit lane length makes a difference. Garage order, if there's yellows or safety cars, there's so much that goes into it. But when the undercut is effective, it can make or break the race.